7 extraordinary continents.
I've traveled the world and the seven.
Each one full of life.
This particular show is kind of about 7 continents and biodiversity. And it's an interesting way to tackle things because the continents, some of them are so enormous, and they can vary so wildly from like rainforest to tundra. What were some of the challenges of dividing the show up that way?
Actually, one of the beauties of the show is the variety in each episode, that you have amazing variety. In North America, say, you can be up in the Arctic or you could be in deep snow in the mountains, or you could be down in the Everglades or something in Florida. So there's great variety within each episode, but then it does mean it's harder to tie them together.
Look at characters that told us something about living on that continent, because it's very important to us to try and bring through the character of each continent. So when we're looking at stories and talking to our researcher, we're desperately looking for new stories, but we're looking for animals that might have character, animals that might be visual, they might, in their day-to-day behavior, they might be telling us something about what the challenges are living in that continent. For example, North America is so defined by extreme seasons and big weather that we're looking for animals that really experience that, pioneering animals that might have to do something radical when the season changes, something that really tied it together. And I think it gave it a deeper context to each of the shows.
We're looking for new species, new behaviour, or animals that have not been seen on television very much, or sometimes animals that are familiar, like Chadden has a polar bear in the North America show that he made. Your polar bear, and it's doing something which you just haven't seen polar bears do before. Emma in her show has a brand new species of spider that's, some people don't like spiders, but I defy you to not fall in love with spiders after that sequence. It's a little courtship mating sequence, and I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a lovely little kind of male spider with paddles as hands, and he plays peekaboo with the female to try and woo her. That's a new species. We have new behaviour in one of your episodes as well, in the Australia episode, dingoes, the Australian wolf chasing and hunting kangaroos. So all the time, novelty is one of the top kind of most important things for our sequences.
The Australia episode was actually a joy for that because it's everything there is like nowhere else on Earth. It was a fantastic job to be given to look at all these animals, which many people, even maybe within Australia, have never heard of, and find new stories and their journeys and how they deal with living in a continent which is an incredibly challenging place to live.
This walk feels longer in the dark tonight. No hand to hold, no hand inside. I pour my heart out to the blackest sky.
I have to imagine making this, you spend a lot of time with certain animals or with observing certain animals. Is there any sort of sadness or interest in I wonder what happened to that specific kangaroo?
You can't walk away from it. You go on location and you spend a long time with these individual animals, and you care deeply about how they're doing, and you end up with this kind of family around the world of scientists who are still watching those animals, or guides that are still watching those animals, and even animals I filmed 10 years ago, I'll be like, are they still okay what they're doing? Or they'll tell me their news. And I think in the Australia episode, sitting at home in the UK and watching the footage of the fires, like everybody else, I feel for the human loss and for the it's really horrible to watch those locations on fire. And then also we know some of the animals that are in those locations. We know the people, and it's you can't disconnect yourself from that. But of course, the damage that's been done, that those animals have lost their habitat. And in the program, one of the things we wanted to do is show the amazing diversity of animals there. And at the end of the program, we talk about how many of those animals, due to human pressures for the last 200 years, have been pushed into little pockets. So we've got a really privileged sequence of something called a Tasmanian devil, which is only now found in a few little pockets. And the fires happened after we finished filming, but the significance is that those animals already pushed into pockets, those very special things found nowhere else. If that area now goes up in flames, they could be lost forever. That's an incredibly sad thing.
But there was also a very cute wombat in that episode.
Yes.
We were talking about how much we love wombats earlier.
And the wombats can be a little bit of a hero in the fires, actually. They dig burrows. That's how they survive in the snow, which is what we filmed in the episode. There's been plenty of stories of animals sheltering in those wombat burrows to escape the fires. And so, I don't think they'd want to be heroes. They're grumpy animals. I don't think they meant to do it. But they've been a little bit of an unsung hero in those areas, I think.
Can I have a sign? 'Cause I am losing hope.
have like a white whale, like for you guys, not in the show, like they're not a white whale in
We
the
have
show.
got white whales in
But
your
like
show.
for you
yeah.
guys, like something that you'd really, I mean, well, I haven't gotten to that episode yet. Something that you guys would really, that you've always been like, man, I really want to capture giant squid. You know what I mean? Like whatever
I was
it
going to
is.
say giant squid. Those deep sea creatures, you know, our colleagues worked on Blue Planet too, but some of those spaces which are so little explored and have creatures that we've never seen before are pretty exciting. And also the world of creepy crawlies, I think, is where so many of our news stories come from, and we're often dealing with these charismatic big animals, the fluffy things. But I think when you go into that leaf litter, that's where you find some unbelievably rich stories and really unsung heroes down there. So I think, you know, that's where I'd go next, looking for new stories and you know, new animals.
In terms of animals on a bucket list, the dingoes definitely were that before this series. They're so hard to film. And I've looked into it in the past, and you wonder why nobody has really done it before. A lot of hard work, but that was definitely something that felt like wasn't sure if it was ever going to be possible, and was really pleased to be able to meet the dingo family that we filmed and follow, like an incredible predator.
I think for me, it's giant armadillos in Bolivia. I just think they must be so bizarre. I can't believe that they're a mammal. They look like a little mini dinosaur. But actually, some of the team on this series managed to film some of the things which I'd always wanted to film. So I've been to Patagonia 3 or 4 times trying to film pumas hunting, and Chad and his team went and managed to absolutely capture that for the first time in this series. We had in Europe muskox, these sort of big shaggy sheep, and I'd failed. It's the only shoot I've completely failed on for Planet Earth 1. It was 2 muskox running and smashing heads, and actually in the Europe episode the team went and got that. So I definitely the team for me slayed a few demons.